Justin Trudeau is betrayed by nobody other than his ex-wife. We've got the details on her new upcoming book and what exactly she said. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. Justin Trudeau can't seem to go anywhere in Canada these days without getting heckled, without being chased down the street. We've seen deepfakes come out again that we discussed earlier in the week of him trying to look like he's some form of high on drug zombie. And we've, of course, heard rumors about his exploits around the world since his separation from his wife. Now, one of the people that I never thought would throw him under the bus in a million years, despite my opinions, would be, well, his ex-wife, Sophie Gregoire Trudeau. Now, the Trudeaus have a very weird history, a very weird past, that when you talk about their relationship, I mean, keep in mind that his ex-wife was also once dating Justin Trudeau's now deceased brother. And then Justin Trudeau, of course, sweeps in to pick her up. This was a marriage that lasted roughly 18 years. With 3 children and running into politics, it's no wonder that eventually politics has a bit of a wear on your family. I'm sure the stress gets to them. But one thing that's always made me question Sophie Gregoire Trudeau is, how do you put up with Justin Trudeau being labeled your spouse with the way he behaves in public? I've often questioned the legitimacy of their separation, and I've often said that when it comes to the immediate announcement that, hey, everybody, we've separated, so now Sophie is no longer liable for conflicts of interest, and she also happens to have a telecommunications company. Well, I've always figured that, hey, maybe this isn't a very legitimate split. Maybe they're hiding money. Maybe she's hiding money for Justin. After all, when we go through what's happening currently with GC Strategies and Arrive scam, it's of no surprise that I would assume Justin Trudeau has been packing his pockets with money. And what better way to do it than by using Sophie Trudeau's telecommunications company to do so? Now, that is an alleged speculation. But what isn't a speculation was a recent interview with Sophie Gregoire Trudeau, who has, since splitting with Justin, taken up residency with her new doctor boyfriend. I guess the doctor is in. Excuse me, as Sophie Gregoire Trudeau says, women shouldn't expect the minimum simply months after split with Justin. What a shot. I mean, this is below the belt, and it's clearly made. People are speculating, well, does this have to do with Trudeau? Of course it does. This is the man who went around the world and danced like a fool in India. This is the same man who brought out the Emergencies Act on top of their people. And while Sophie Gregoire Trudeau is no innocent pawn in this scheme of Justin Trudeau's long tenure of screw-ups, it's interesting to see that as soon as she splits, of course, the mouth comes open. Her tell-all book is due out later this month. And of course, what better way to kick off the excitement for that tour than by throwing her ex-husband under the bus? Now, we've seen them in public together where, again, they looked miserable months prior to announcing their separation. Yet what I find alarmingly disturbing is that she still joins him on holidays. She still gets all the perks that Justin gets as Prime Minister of Canada, including the $80,000 a week Jamaican villa that was paid for by taxpayers, that Justin, of course, said he was going to pay for. We know now that that's not true. But of course, Sophie wasting no time to throw Justin under the bus. It says she also shared tips on how she looks after her emotional well-being. I think we need more playfulness in this world. We should be very wary of adults who can't play anymore. Again, what a shot. We've seen some cringeworthy behavior from her in terms of her singing in public, her weird speeches. This isn't like a sane woman, so of course I'm not defending Sophie Trudeau here. I just find it merely funny how quickly, after a separation, she's ready to take that big old paycheck and throw Justin under the bus. It says here, Sophie Trudeau said women shouldn't expect the minimum in what is being interpreted as veiled swipe at Justin Trudeau by international media. Gregoire Trudeau has been making media appearances ahead of the publication of her debut book, Closer Together, Knowing Ourselves, Loving Each Other, which will be released on April 23rd, 2024. In Abu Dhabi, she was at the Forbes and Know Your Values annual 3050 Summit earlier this month, where she spoke about the importance of women of all ages prioritizing their emotional well-being and psychological safety. I don't understand how after 18 years of being married to Justin Trudeau, you could perhaps think that you care anything about your emotional well-being, because being married to a goof like that would drive you nuts. But I digress. Your needs. You shouldn't expect the minimum. Gregoire Trudeau told this audience, you should expect a maximum of nourishment, presence, and help in your life with the people around you, and we shouldn't have to hold it all together as women. So basically saying that Justin Trudeau has done nothing for her. He's abandoned her and left her with everything. Now, I'm going to press X to doubt here, as this is the same woman who felt entitled enough to say that while the home was being paid for by taxpayers when Justin became prime minister, that she needed several nannies to watch and raise her children because it was far too busy of a task for her. So a lot of this is word salad. A lot of this is her virtue signaling. Again, throwing Justin under the bus for a payday, but I'm loving every minute of it because, look, we talked about the deep faked photos of Justin's burnout when he was on the news the other day. And I've said, and even in there, you know what? I had to call out that it was fake. I don't like doing that because I love taking a shot at Justin any chance we get. But here we go. I sit in silence. I love silence. I go out and move in nature, she says. Well, of course you sit in silence. Your ex-husband didn't have a thought in the air passing through his ear canals. I also like to dance in my kitchen, and I just love it. And I love human connection. I love good mischief. Who doesn't? I think we need more playfulness in this world. And it doesn't mean that we're light and that there is no substance. It's quite the opposite. We should be very wary of adults who can't play anymore. The Trudeaus separated after 18 years last August, and Gregoire Trudeau since repartnered with Ottawa-based doctor Dr. Marcos Bitoli. Gregoire Trudeau is also set to appear on the cover of Elle magazine, Canada's April 2024 issue, set to be released on March 18th. Ahead of the issue's publication, Trudeau shared the excerpt from her book with the publication. The book will recount some of her life changes, including battling an eating disorder in her younger years and her career as a speaker, television presenter, and public personality. It also includes journaling prompts, mental health tools, and conversations with scientists, psychologists, and thought leaders like Gabor Mate and Liz Plank. I know I probably mispronounced that first name, but psychologists and scientists? Is Sophie going to lecture us about the science in her book? Or a psychologist that should probably diagnose her and her husband? I don't know. I mean, this is all... If anything, like, this isn't even a serious book. Guys, if you want to have a laugh, pick up this book. Don't pick it up because she gets paid for that. Find a PDF file online. But there she is on the cover of Elle, Photoshop to the brim. Of course, she says, even in the Instagram post, life is serious. We are not Elle Canada and Elle Quebec allowed me some creative, or life is serious. We are not. Elle Canada and Elle Quebec allowed me some creative playtime as I'm getting ready for my book launch and tour. We had fun, but most importantly, we discussed well-being, relationships, and family. This is just the beginning, and I'm looking forward to getting closer together in life and under your reading eyes very soon. I bet this book tanks. Call me crazy. As somebody who's in the book business, I can guarantee you, I think this book, they'll say that it's a bestseller. They'll say that it's moving copies. I don't know anybody who wants to listen to anything this lady has to say. Unless, of course, she's talking about money that Justin's hiding, or the real stories about things like the Aga Khan or SNC Lavalin. I don't think those will be in the book, unfortunately. In the excerpt, Gregoire Trudeau writes that she decided to author the book because she is fundamentally and passionately curious about emotional alignment, which, again, she didn't have with her ex-husband because he's clueless. As a mental health, emotional literacy, and gender equality advocate for the past 2 decades, I've discovered more about human emotions than I ever thought I would. As much as we are thinking beings, we are feeling and sensing beings at our core, the 48-year-old writes. What? I, I know this video's stretching based on the content, but it's just so laughable. It's very laughable. 20 years ago, when I was a young radio and television host in Quebec, a newcomer in my field, I decided to speak out about my struggles with an eating disorder. It wasn't an easy decision. I was hesitant to show my vulnerability publicly and wondered if I would ever be hired again. 20 years ago was 2004. Weren't women starving themselves to get on the pictures of magazine covers and stuff? Now, I'm not trying to downplay an eating disorder. An eating disorder, of course, is a horrible, horrible thing. But to say, oh, I didn't think I'd work ever again if I mentioned my eating disorder. It was very common, still is common to this day. No one spoke much about mental health back then, and especially not about eating disorders. But deep down, I felt like it was the right thing to do. I faced my fear and went ahead with it, and it became the turning point, which has given my life direction. Now, I'm very glad she got past her eating disorder. Don't think I'm being completely cruel. An eating disorder is a terrible thing. I just question again what her version of an eating disorder is versus the actual diagnosis. Gregoire Trudeau teased the upcoming L issue on her Instagram account, sharing a photo of the cover, writing, "We had fun, but most importantly, we discussed well-being, relationships, and family again." I'm curious how much she discussed about Justin. And again, more is going to come out as this book drops. I'm guessing at some point there may be more throwing Justin under the bus, but it's going to be funny to see nonetheless. Because again, look, it's never funny when a family breaks apart or deteriorates. And some people may say, hey, Derek, you're being too hard on Justin Trudeau. No, I'm not. This guy kept us locked in our house for multiple years. He steals our money every day. He has scandal after scandal. If anything, this is the karma bus pulling up to run him over. And I, for one, usually feel bad when it's somebody else, but when it's Justin Trudeau, I'm sorry. I just don't have any care in the world for how bad his life gets because he's had it coming to him, quite frankly. And again, it's going to be very interesting to see if Sophie completely throws him under the bus to talk about her brand new fantastic relationship and how close she is at not accepting the minimum. Oh, it's going to be great. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Will you be picking up this book? I sure hope not. But let me know your comments down below. If it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check if you're subscribed to the channel. Did I just screw that? I screwed that up. If it's your first time here, I hope the video has earned your subscriptions. If you're subscribed to the channel, make sure to double check that you're still subscribed because YouTube doesn't like videos like this getting out. They don't want us talking about policies with Justin Trudeau or anything going on in the government's life. And of course, we have been completely shadow banned over the last couple weeks. Your likes, your comments, they get us out there. They tell people, hey, people are enjoying this video. It takes 2 seconds to do so. So if you're liking the content, please make sure to do all of that. Don't forget to join us here on the channel as well. Turn on your bell for notifications. Join us every Friday here on the channel live at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, where we do Friday Night Fringe. And we actually had a great show this last Friday. As in yesterday, we did the one chip challenge, or the last chip challenge, as it's called. It was nasty. I encourage anybody who missed it to go back and check it out. Boy, I lasted about 5.5 minutes, so I beat the 5-minute recommended time, but it just, you can't win with that thing. Anyways, I'm glad you guys had a good time on the streams. I look forward to everybody else who's coming into the streams to enjoy themselves coming in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your weekend. I'll catch you on the next one.